Today's show brought to you in part by GoToMeeting. For a free 30-day trial, use code podcast at gotomeeting.com. Hey, welcome to RV Healthy. I'm Andy McCaskey from RVNN TV and introducing host of our show, Sylvia Tannhauser. Sylvia, how you doing today?
I'm good, thanks, Andy. How are you?
You've got a really concise title for this episode, BMI. So let's just jump right in. What is that?
BMI is the body mass index. And many people have heard the terminology, but they don't really know how to calculate it or why it's used.
Well, you know, for some reason, this is something that it seems as we were growing up, there wasn't very much discussion. I mean, is this something new that's just been invented, say, the last 10, 15 years?
It's not. Actually, it was developed in the 1800s. Can you imagine?
Wow. So when did it come into common use?
Right around the early 1970s. You still didn't hear a lot about it, but the actual medical field was using it regularly since probably the early 70s.
Right, and I guess that was really the first exposure I had to it was, you know, if you were on active duty in the military at that time, all of a sudden, not only did you have targets as far as how far you could run, a number of push-ups and all that, but you had this BMI thing, and they had these calipers where they'd measure the amount of fat and so forth. It seemed to be a pretty elaborate procedure.
Well, there is a much more elaborate procedure that you can do, and most of the medical and fitness participants actually do. But in order just to determine, are you at a good weight, are you overweight, or are you in an obese capacity, the BMI, the general BMI, we can go over today, which will help you understand where you are and where you need to go.
Mm-hmm. Oh, now, who are some of the people that use BMI just kind of as a routine part of their training or their counseling?
Well, any weight loss professional should know how to calculate BMI and what the BMI ranges are. Your doctors, any medical practitioner would know what the BMI is and how to calculate. Any fitness trainer would know what BMI is and how to calculate. Those are your three primary.
Mm-hmm. Well, now, you know, I've seen, again, these calipers that are used to measure fat, and then there's a whole set of graphs and tables that you consult. Is there a simpler way to get a handle on BMI from a practical standpoint?
There is. It's a calculation that we would need to do. Shall we use your numbers, Andy?
Yeah, okay, let's go ahead.
Okay. So what we're going to do initially is take your current weight, and you don't have to give us what that is if you don't want to, but so anyone out there, take your current weight and multiply it by 703. By 703.
703. Now that's a strange kind of number.
Mm-hmm.
But there's method to your madness, right?
So we'll hypothetically use 150.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll do the 150 by 703 instead of using yours. Do you have a calculator?
I do. I carry it with me.
I have that number handy if you don't have a calculator. All right. So then what we're going to do is we're going to take, so if you want to calculate yours while I kind of go over the 150 by 703.
Okay.
Then we're going to take your height. We're going to multiply your height in inches by your height in inches. So for example, if you're 5'6", you would multiply 56 by 56.
50.
I'm sorry, 66.
Yeah, that's what it was like, whoa, where did that math come from?
The math brain wasn't working.
Yeah, okay, well for me it's pretty easy because I am 6 feet tall, so that's 5184.
Okay. So then what you're going to do is you're going to take that top number, the one that you multiplied your weight by 703.
Yeah, that's the big one.
That's the big number. Take that number, divide it by the smaller number.
Okay.
Okay. So then you're going to come up with a figure that is roughly 20-something point something, probably. So in the example that I did, it was 150 pounds currently, 5'6", That number came up to 105,450 divided by 4356, comes up with a BMI of 24.2. Do you want to share your BMI range?
Well, you say it's supposed to be in the 20s somewhere? Yeah.
Share it?
Yeah, I'm 29. 29.29, 166,667.
Okay. So what you're going to do is now we're going to determine what category you're in. So once you get that number, if your number is 18.5 or below, you're underweight, significantly underweight. So if your number is anywhere from 18.5 to 24.9, you're in a normal weight category. If your range is from 25 to 29.9, you're considered in an overweight category. And anything that's 30 and above is in an obese category.
Okay. Is there any...
And this is not to scare anybody. This is truly to understand when someone tells you. I was speaking to a client yesterday where, you know, the doctor said you're overweight and she thought she looked pretty darn good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's the category that the doctor puts you in, or the BMI range puts you in, that the doctor is reviewing, that knows that you are in an overweight category, which just means for your height and your current weight, you just need to bring that weight down a little bit to get you into a normal BMI range.
So we hear about this notion that, you know, every decade's worth 10 pounds. Is there any kind of adjustment for age that gets figured into this, or is this a pretty objective measure?
There is no adjustment to age in this. Now, there is some considerations for those that are elderly. In consideration, there are some differences for children, but it's on the body fat content. And there is a true different chart for children, but not for seniors and above.
Right. Well, in one way, this helps you to, A, see where you are, and secondly, it allows you to maybe set some very specific goals, not so much as far as X number of pounds, but just improving that score.
And that's where we all need to be aware. If you know where your BMI range is, and you know where the medical and the government and, you know, all the fitness and weight loss, you know, use that BMI category, it is one of those things that you can be aware of. Okay, where can I make some improvements? Can it be in increasing my activity or lowering my calorie intake? And I'm cautious in saying that because, again, you know, you have to know what you're eating, what you're currently eating, and where you can make those improvements.
Okay, so I'm going back through. All right, here was my problem. I was going back to the ideal fighting weight. I was just trying to figure out where that would figure in, and so I need to remember to multiply by 703. That was where that error crept in. So calculators are a wonderful thing. But you know, it's interesting to see that you know, the weight that I carried when I was say 21 years old was still in that in the middle of that okay range, the middle to a little bit high. So is that telling me that that maybe I've been carrying more pounds than I should for many years?
Well, again, it's making you aware of where, if a doctor tells you that you're a little bit overweight and where he would want you to lose some pounds, you know, many times we have to look at, especially those of us that, you know, have hit that 50 decade plus, you know, are we carrying it a little bit more in our stomach area? Are we carrying it for women? You know, usually it's the hips and thigh area. And that could be where our excess pounds are, and make those improvements. But unfortunately, you know, when I worked in one of the top leading weight loss companies for over 5 years, a lot of people argued that BMI, thinking it was just that weight loss company that did use that range, and it's not. It's an actual justified range that is out there amongst all the medical professionals, weight loss companies, as well as fitness companies. It's a government, you know, performed, if you will, range for those of us to know, are we in an overweight or obese capacity? And quite honestly, now in the US, there's a huge percentage that is in that overweight and above category now that we need to be cautious of. And how can we make some improvements in our diet and our lifestyle to bring that number down?
Okay. Well, you know, looking forward to some of the episodes coming up. I know we're going to be talking about how to make better choices when we're eating on the road in restaurant types of situations, and also exercising. How, even though you are traveling or on vacation or you're enjoying an extended trip, how you can make time for exercise and use things that are readily at hand. Sylvia, thanks for joining us for this particular episode. I might remind folks that there is a Pinterest board specifically for RV Healthy at RV Newsnet, and ask that you circle us on G+, check us out, give us the old thumbs up there on Facebook, and don't forget on Twitter, if you use the hashtag RVNL for RVHL for RV Healthy, you can send a comment or question directly to Sylvia. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on RV Healthy.
Hey Gabe, wanna go for a walk? Gabe? Gabe? Gabe?
Hey, buddy, you lost? Hold on.
If your pet is the adventuresome type, be sure he's connected to Pet Hub. A quick scan using any smartphone shares your pet's vital information so that even his wildest escapades have a happy ending. Pet Hub, reuniting pets with their families.
Come on, Gabe, let's go home.